They thought they could control you, manipulate you, own you. But what they didn't realize is that you were never theirs to claim. You carry something too powerful, too untouchable, something divine. And the moment they tried to wrap their hands around you, they sealed their own fate. At first, the signs were small. Delays, losses, things slipping through their fingers. But they ignored the warnings. Their pride made them reckless. Their ego made them blind. And now, the storm they created is coming back for them. They don't understand what you are. You were never meant to be contained, never meant to bow to those who thought they had power over you. The more they tried to hold you down, the faster their own foundations cracked. This isn't revenge. This is a spiritual law in motion. No one interferes with what has been divinely chosen without paying the price. You are not ordinary. You are a force, a fire, a disruption to everything built on illusion. And the ones who tried to dim your light, they're learning the hard way that no one walks away from this unchanged. You don't even have to lift a finger. Their own actions are their downfall. So stand firm. Walk boldly. Let them watch as everything they tried to do to you circles back onto them. Because the harder they fought to hold you back, the harder they fall. The ones who seek to dominate and control weave their own undoing with every desperate attempt to maintain power. The tighter their grip, the quicker the unraveling, for they entangle themselves in forces they neither perceive nor comprehend, forces that will dismantle them piece by piece. This is not simply about loss in the material world. It is a reckoning that transcends what the eyes can see. No resistance is needed on your part. You exist as a testament to something untouchable, something beyond human interference. The weight of divine authority is not yours to carry, yet it moves through you, rendering all opposition powerless. Those who conspire against you never realize their true opponent. They war not with flesh, but with a force beyond time, one that has already sealed their defeat. A warning is inscribed into existence itself, reverberating through all things. The sacred is not to be desecrated. Those who try will face the consequence, written in the very foundation of spiritual law. An attempt to suppress or manipulate you is an act of defiance against something far greater than the will of any individual. It is an intrusion upon what is beyond possession, a violation of something no mortal hand can seize. The illusion of control deceives those who believe they hold power, as if their schemes could outmaneuver the inevitable. But every move against you is a step deeper into their own downfall. What was meant to shackle you becomes the weight that drags them under. There is no act of vengeance here, only the irreversible reaction of forces set in motion. This is the truth that cannot be rewritten. You belong to no one but the divine, and no hand can take what was never theirs to claim. The path of those who seek to hinder you does not end in triumph. It crumbles beneath them, leaving them trapped in the wreckage of their own ambition. You are here for a reason. If you feel the call, it's time to answer it. By clicking the Join button, you unlock exclusive content, deep insights, and a powerful community ready to walk this journey with you. This isn't just a membership. It's an awakening, a chance to step fully into your divine purpose and claim the path meant for you. Don't wait. Step forward. Join the chosen. Throughout the course of history, those who have sought to obstruct a force beyond their understanding have met fates they never foresaw. Their certainty, their plans, their carefully woven deceptions. None of it withstands what they have unknowingly challenged. At first, they appear unwavering, confident in their strength. But the unseen counterforce is already in motion, undoing their every move from the shadows. The pattern repeats without fail. The higher they attempt to climb, the further they fall. The more they grasp, the less they hold. It is not mere coincidence. It is the consequence of defying a force that cannot be swayed, a truth that no amount of resistance can alter. What opposes you does not endure, because the battle was never against you, it was against something beyond their reach, and that is a battle no one wins. If God is for us, who can be against us? Romans 8:31. There's an old story about a man who tried to hold back the ocean with his bare hands. He stood on the shore, arms stretched wide, believing that if he just fought hard enough, he could stop the tide from rising. But the water didn't listen. It didn't hesitate. It didn't stop. Because the ocean answers to no man. And just like that tide, when something is divinely set in motion, no force on earth can hold it back. Time and time again, people have tried to silence what was never meant to be silenced. They have plotted, schemed, and convinced themselves that they could stop what was already written. But history has never been kind to those who stand in the way of what is greater than themselves. The harder they try to hold on, the faster they lose everything they thought they controlled. It's always the same story. They start out confident, believing their influence will last forever. They whisper behind closed doors, pull strings in the dark, thinking they can shape the outcome to their will. But then, slowly, and at first, almost imperceptibly, things start to shift. The foundation they stood on begins to crack. The opportunities they thought were theirs slip away. The power they held starts to weaken. Because no one, no matter how strong, can fight against something divinely protected and come out victorious. It happens in every era, every lifetime, every personal struggle. A betrayer always meets his own deception. A manipulator always finds himself trapped in his own web. People who move with deception will always be undone by the very tactics they use against others. They don't realize it at first, but every move they make to suppress, control, or steal from someone anointed is a step toward their own downfall. This isn't karma. This isn't coincidence. This is spiritual law. When someone tries to confine what was never meant to be caged, the force they fight against is not a person. It is something far greater, and the battle they think they're winning is actually their own undoing. The ones who tried to stop you, they thought they were in control. They thought they could outmaneuver destiny. But now, they stand in the ruins of their own making, watching as everything they built collapses beneath them. Because the truth is, they were never fighting against you. They were fighting against something they could never touch. And that is a battle they were never going to win. This is not a coincidence. It is the inevitable return of what was sown. Those who act from a place of fear, resentment, or arrogance unknowingly set the stage for their own undoing. To attempt to obstruct something ordained is like trying to hold back the breaking of dawn. It is not just impossible, it is self-destructive. There is an irony in their struggle, a lesson woven into their downfall. They believe they can halt momentum, shape outcomes, rewrite what has already been set in motion, but their efforts only fuel the very thing they sought to dismantle. Resistance does not weaken what is destined, it strengthens it. Opposition does not diminish the chosen, it refines them. Each trial, each betrayal, each challenge only fortifies the foundation they stand upon, while those who waged the battle find themselves exhausted, empty, and grasping at what can no longer be reclaimed. This is not about revenge, nor is it about victory in the conventional sense. It is the simple reality that what is aligned with purpose cannot be hindered, and what is built on deception cannot endure. The paradox of true power is that it is often mistaken for fragility. The quiet ones, the ones who do not seek dominance or control, are often underestimated. Those who seek to undermine them misread the stillness for weakness, unaware that the greatest force is not the one that shouts the loudest, but the one that moves unseen, unwavering, and untouched by the chaos around it. There is no need to engage, no need to retaliate, because the destruction of opposition does not require force. It is an inevitability that plays out on its own. The moment of reckoning is not always immediate, but it is always certain. What was meant to be taken is lost by the hands that tried to steal it. The illusions of power, status, and control prove to be nothing more than dust in the wind, vanishing as swiftly as they were grasped. And in the end, what remains is not the weight of their efforts, but the undeniable truth. What was never theirs to claim was never theirs to keep. The balance between fleeting dominance and unshakable purpose has always been stark. Power rooted in status, recognition, and possessions is fragile, easily taken, and constantly threatened. But authority that flows from something beyond the material world cannot be touched or diminished. Those who build their strength on shifting foundations are plagued by fear, fear of losing influence, fear of becoming irrelevant. Yet those who move with an unwavering certainty, guided by a force far greater than any human ambition, remain unaffected. This quiet assurance unsettles those who oppose them. It baffles and enrages, for they cannot understand how their efforts to control, weaken, or discredit fail time and time again. But their battle is not with a person. Their battle is with an unseen force that cannot be overpowered. And in every clash, the outcome is already decided. You are not here by accident. If you feel the pull, the knowing deep inside that you are chosen, this is your moment. Click the super thank you button and give $50 or more to unlock deeper insights, exclusive content, and a path that aligns with your divine purpose. This isn't just a contribution, it's a declaration, a step toward who you were meant to be. Answer the call, walk with us, and step fully into your destiny. Your journey begins now. There is a cruel irony in the desperation of those who refuse to let go. They think they are grasping at control, but in truth, they are binding themselves to their own undoing. Like one clinging to a force they were never meant to wield, they weaken with every effort to hold on. They pour their energy into strategies, schemes, and opposition, only to find themselves drained, their resources depleted. While they struggle, the one they sought to suppress rises, not by fighting back, not by seeking revenge, but simply by existing as they were meant to. What was intended as an obstacle becomes fuel for growth. Resistance only tempers the strength of the one it was meant to break, while the aggressor slowly collapses under the weight of their own obsession. It is not punishment, it is simply an immutable law at work. When something that was never theirs to control is forcibly held, it only ensures their own destruction. Interfering with something beyond human grasp carries a cost that few ever anticipate. The impact is never immediate, but it is certain. The ability to manipulate, to dictate outcomes, to control the world around them, begins to slip through their fingers. The walls they once relied upon begin to close in. What once came easily to them now resists. The more they push against fate, the more fate pushes back. The struggle leaves them scrambling, unable to reclaim what they thought was theirs by right. But this was never about retaliation. It is simply the result of crossing a boundary that should never have been approached. What was set in motion will not be stopped, and what was destined cannot be stolen. The more they fight it, the faster they fall, while the one they sought to hinder continues forward, untouched, unstoppable, moving closer to everything that was always meant to be. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Isaiah 54:17. There's a reason the battle never touched you the way they intended, a reason why, no matter how much they plotted, schemed, or tried to pull you down, you kept standing. You see, when you are covered, when you are chosen, when you are called, their weapons might form, but they will never break you. They will throw stones, and yet you will not stumble. They will dig pits, and yet you will not fall, because what walks with you is greater than what stands against you. Imagine a tree planted in the middle of a raging storm. The winds howl, the rain beats down, and yet that tree does not fall. Why? Because its roots run deep. The storms of life do not destroy it. They only make it stronger. That's you. That's who you are. Deeply rooted, unshakable, untouchable. And no matter how much they try to uproot you, they only expose how weak their own foundations really are. The ones who tried to break you, the ones who whispered behind closed doors, the ones who counted you out. They thought they had power over you. But what they didn't realize is that you were never just walking through life. You were being led, being guided, being positioned by something far greater than their understanding. You are anointed, and that is why they couldn't stop you. Some people sense it the moment you walk into a room, and they don't even know why. They feel it. Some see it as a quiet strength, a confidence that can't be shaken. Others, they see it as a threat. They don't understand how you move the way you do, how you keep rising when life tries to pull you down. But it's not about what they understand. It's about what's been placed upon you. And here's the truth. Some people will admire it, and others will hate it. Some will see you and be inspired, while others will see you and feel convicted. It's not because you did anything wrong. It's not because you sought their attention. It's because your very existence forces them to see the cracks in their own foundation. And when people can't match what they see in you, they either try to follow it or fight against it. Some will attempt to imitate you, trying to grasp at something they don't even fully comprehend. Others will try to tear you down, hoping that if they can dim your light, they won't have to confront their own darkness. But what they fail to understand is this battle was never yours to fight. It never was, because what stands behind you, what lifts you, what covers you, it's untouchable. They can wrestle with their own insecurities, their own envy, their own pride, but they cannot wrestle with the hand that is upon your life. Let them watch, let them wonder, let them talk, because while they spend their energy trying to pull you down, you will only rise higher, not because of anything you have done, but because of who walks with you. They thought they could break you, but they only broke themselves trying. And now they have no choice but to watch as you step into everything they tried to keep from you. The way others respond is not a reflection of the one they fixate upon, but of their own internal state. Some will walk in parallel, strengthened by a shared purpose. Others will resist, unsettled by what they cannot grasp. These reactions are inevitable, but they are also proof of something greater at work. To be set apart is to move through cycles of refinement, to be tested not for suffering, but for preparation. The challenges faced are not random disruptions. They are necessary steps in becoming what was always meant to be. Every difficulty serves a purpose. Every obstacle carries meaning. What was intended as a setback becomes fuel for growth, and every experience builds upon the foundation of what is to come. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is without reason. The journey unfolds exactly as it should, ensuring that what is meant to rise will rise, and nothing that stands against it will endure. Life moves in cycles, each challenge arriving like an unrelenting tide, testing endurance, reshaping identity. Just as one trial fades into the past, another emerges, often more intense, more demanding. These experiences are not random. They are thresholds, each one asking the same silent question. Have you grown enough to move forward? The struggle is not meaningless. It strips away illusions, forcing the release of outdated fears, doubts, and limitations. Some of these obstacles manifest through external forces: opposition, unexpected loss, shifting circumstances that seem designed to shake the foundation beneath your feet. Others arise from within, drawing attention to unseen battles, fears left unresolved, and truths waiting to be confronted. These internal reckonings are often the hardest to face because they demand brutal honesty, dismantling every layer of false security. Yet with each trial endured, there is transformation. Strength is not simply gained, it is uncovered, emerging from the depths of experience, forging a sharper, more defined purpose. Though he stumble, he will not fall, for the Lord upholds him with his hand. Psalm 37:24. Let me tell you something. Life is not about avoiding the storm. It's about learning how to walk through it without losing your way. Picture a goldsmith refining gold in fire. It isn't destroyed by the heat, it's purified by it. That's you. Every trial, every setback, every betrayal, they're not meant to break you. They're meant to refine you. Because when you are chosen, the fire doesn't consume you, it forges you. People look at you and wonder how you keep standing after everything you've been through. They watch and wait for you to crumble under pressure, to give up when life throws another battle your way. But what they don't understand is you were built for this. Struggle isn't a sign of failure. It's proof that you're walking in purpose. It's evidence that something bigger is at work, shaping you, strengthening you, making sure that when the moment comes to step fully into what's meant for you, you'll be ready. Hardship is not the absence of favor, it's the confirmation of it. The weight you carry isn't there to crush you, it's there to prepare you. The ones who tried to hold you back didn't realize they were only making you stronger. The obstacles weren't meant to stop you. They were meant to teach you how to overcome. And let me tell you this, there's no such thing as wasted pain when you're walking with purpose. But here's where so many get it wrong. They waste their energy looking back. They fixate on who wronged them, on what was taken from them, on who tried to close doors in their face. But let me remind you, you can't step into what's ahead if you're still looking behind you. The past is already written. Your future is waiting. Don't let what hurt you keep you from what's meant to heal you. You see, the ones who tried to stop you, they were never in control. The circumstances that felt impossible, they were never stronger than the one who called you. Even when you felt alone, even when it looked like the battle was too much, you were never abandoned. Every step was leading you somewhere. Every hardship was teaching you something. Every moment of resistance was building you into someone who cannot be shaken. And now it's time to walk forward like you know exactly who you are. Let the doubters watch. Let the naysayers talk. Let the ones who tried to break you realize they never had the power to do so. Because here's the truth. What is meant to rise cannot be held down. And you were never meant to stay small. So take your next step boldly, without hesitation, without apology. The storm didn't take you out. The fire didn't burn you up. You are still standing. And that means your story isn't over. It's just getting started. Do not throw your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn and tear you to pieces. Matthew 7:6. There is something different about you. You carry something rare, something powerful, something not everyone deserves access to. Think of a lantern glowing in the dark. Some will be drawn to it, seeking warmth, light, and direction. Others, they'll try to snuff it out, not because the light offends them, but because it reveals what they would rather keep hidden. That's what happens when you walk with divine purpose. Some will be inspired, and others will be exposed. And those who cannot handle the truth of who you are will do everything in their power to dim what they cannot possess. They will misunderstand you. They will question you. They will stand on the sidelines, waiting for you to fail. But here's the truth. Their approval was never the goal. You were not called to convince, to seek validation, or to beg for acceptance. You were called to walk boldly, to stand firm, to keep moving even when the road is lonely. There are people in this world who only know how to take. They see light and mistake it for something they can consume. They are not looking to grow, they are looking to drain. You must know the difference. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Not everyone should have access to your energy, your wisdom, your presence. Discernment isn't cruelty, it's protection. Some battles are not meant to be fought. Some distractions are not worth your time. Your energy is sacred. There are people who will try to pull you into their chaos, convincing you that their struggle should be yours. There are others who will attempt to manipulate, guilt, or control you, hoping to tether you to their expectations. But hear this: your purpose is not up for negotiation. The moment you allow distractions to take root, you give away the strength meant to carry you forward. This is not about shutting people out. This is about knowing who is truly meant to walk beside you. Some will recognize your presence and feel at peace, knowing they have found something familiar, something aligned. But others, the ones ruled by pride, fear, or insecurity, will see you as a threat. They won't be able to explain it, but they will feel it. And instead of learning from you, they will seek to undermine, sabotage, or drain you. But here's what they don't understand. They cannot take what was never meant for them. They may try to steal your time, your focus, your energy, but they will never be able to steal your purpose. And the more they try, the more they unravel. Because when something is divinely placed within you, no human hand can remove it. So guard what is sacred. Protect your peace. Walk with confidence, knowing that your journey was never meant to be understood by everyone. And when people reveal who they truly are, believe them. Let them talk. Let them watch. Let them wonder. Because no matter what they do, no matter how they try, they will never be able to dim a light that was never theirs to control. The greatest challenge is not in understanding the path, but in trusting it. There is no need to see every step ahead. Certainty is not required for forward movement. The unseen forces at work do not waver, nor do they abandon. Even when the road seems uncertain, protection remains intact. The obstacles encountered are not deterrents, but necessary trials, each one refining, preparing, strengthening. Every misstep, every loss, every moment of resistance has only served to sharpen focus and reinforce the truth. What is meant to unfold cannot be halted by human interference. Those who attempted to confine, control, or diminish only worked against themselves. The weight of their efforts did not bind the one they opposed. It shackled them to their own downfall. There is no need to look back. The past holds no power over what lies ahead. The ones who tried to restrain will be left behind, not through force, but by the nature of their own choices. They were never part of the destination, only temporary shadows along the way. The future does not wait for those who hesitate, nor does it slow for those who resist. Every hardship endured, every betrayal overcome, every lesson absorbed has been shaping what is yet to come. The journey is not just a personal one. It is woven into something far greater, something unshakable. And in the end, the truth remains unchanged. No force, no interference, and no opposition can alter what has already been set in motion. The path forward is clear, and nothing can stand in its way.